Every year, thousands of tourists visit the DPRK's capital, Pyongyang. Whilst it is possible to visit dozens of sites and cities around the country, the capital city is home to many of the country's most famous and recognisable monuments, buildings and attractions. So, what is there to do in Pyongyang? What would a standard day on tour look like for a foreign visitor? Well, it would be impossible to list every single option. Pyongyang has a lot to offer. But let's take a look at a day in the life of a visitor to this unique city. If you're about to spend the day touring the capital, there's a good chance it's your first morning waking up in the DPRK. Although, on longer trips, sometimes your itinerary will leave Pyongyang until later on in the trip. Waking up in Pyongyang's most popular hotel, the Yanggakdo International Hotel, you'll get a stunning view over the city. If you wake up early enough, you might hear the melodic tone of "Where Are You Dear General" flowing over the Pyongyang skyline as the sun rises. The Yanggakdo, despite what you may have heard, isn't the only hotel open to foreigners, but you can find out more about that in my Pyongyang hotels video. For the purposes of this video, we'll use the Yanggakdo. The day begins as we head out onto the bus in the car park of the Yanggakdo. If this is your first day on tour, departing Yanggak Island and onto the bridge over the Taedong River, the view of the city in the morning is stunning. The Mirai Scientist Street is in full view as we cross the bridge, and we'll trundle past Kim Chek University of Technology, the Pyongyang Grand Theatre, through the ubiquitous Kim Il-sung Square in the heart of the city, and then on to our first destination of the day, the Mansudae Fountain Park. If you're lucky, you'll also get the chance to view the enormous murals of the President Kim Il-sung and the General Kim Jong-il in the heart of downtown Pyongyang. The nearby Mansudae Fountain Park consists of numerous marble sculptures which top a series of fountains. A great place for locals to meet and enjoy the nice weather. We'll stop here for photos and you'll be able to buy flowers prior to our next stop. Hopping back on the bus, we'll drive up the hill into a small car park off to the side of one of Pyongyang's most important monuments, the Mansudae Grand Monument. While it isn't true that all foreigners are required to attend this site, it's nice to visit as a sign of respect to our Korean hosts. These two 22-metre tall statues depict the President Kim Il-sung and the General Kim Jong-il. We'll visit this site to pay our respects and lay flowers, before stopping for some photos. Those who aren't so keen on visiting the statues are always welcome to wait on the bus. Whilst at the Mansudae site, we'll get some great views of another nearby monument, the Chollima Statue, dedicated to the Chollima movement of the 1950s, an effort to rebuild the country in the aftermath of the Korean War. Having paid our respects, we'll board the bus once more, driving past the No. 1 department store and along the Taedong River until we reach the car park behind Kim Il-sung Square. Walking back up along the banks of the Taedong, we'll visit the Foreign Language Bookshop. Here, you'll be able to buy souvenirs and publications from the DPRK written in English, Chinese, Russian, and many other languages besides. Walking back down along the central Sungni, or Victory Street, we'll stop for a proper look around Kim Il-sung Square, with the mammoth Grand People's Study House overlooking the square from one side, and the Juche Tower on the opposite side of the river, overlooking from the other. The square is the geographical and cultural heart of Pyongyang, the site of parades, rallies, dances, concerts, and celebrations. Having stopped for photos, we'll take a walk down one of the city's largest avenues. Wandering down Victory Street from Kim Il-sung Square, we'll pass by some of Pyongyang's alternative accommodation options, such as the Haebangsan or the Pyongyang Hotel. Our destination is the Pyongyang Grand Theatre, a beautiful, traditional Korean-style building which is often used to perform revolutionary operas. We'll stay on the outside, however, taking some photos and enjoying downtown Pyongyang, before jumping back on our tour bus and crossing into southwest Pyongyang. Our destination for this journey is the internationally famous Mansudae Art Studio, the DPRK's premier artistic establishment, responsible for many of the murals and statues you'll see around the city. Our first stop will be the on-site shop, after which we'll get to see one of Pyongyang's most striking yet little known statues, the equestrian statues of the President and the General. During our visit, we'll get to see artists at work. Every visit is different, and on some trips we might even get to see embroidery or pottery being worked on. Our next stop is a real highlight. Just down the road from Mansudae is the Pyongyang Metro station, our entry point to the stunning subterranean marvel that is the Pyongyang Metro. Heading into the station building, we'll join the huge number of locals going about their daily business. After spending some time on the platform, mixing with Korean riders and taking photos of the stunning architecture, we'll board the train. Kaesonmun, or the Arch of Triumph. Emerging from Kaeson Station, we'll get some fantastic views of this granite arch, built to commemorate the journey of the President Kim Il-sung from his home in Manggyeongdae in 1925 to fight against the Japanese occupation, until his return to Pyongyang in 1945, where he gave a speech on this very spot. The Kim Il-sung Stadium is also nearby, so we may check for timetables of upcoming football matches in the National League. If we visit on a national holiday, the square next to the Arch of Triumph is a popular spot for mass dance, a choreographed performance often involving local students, which tourists are encouraged to join in with. We'll leave the Arch of Triumph and head north, passing the Sino-Korean Friendship Tower, before pulling in to a modest-looking collection of buildings on the side of the road. However, there is nothing modest about this stop. Known as the Jonsung Revolutionary Site, this hill is riddled with tunnels and bunkers previously used by the leadership. These tunnels were created in the early 1950s as Pyongyang bore the brunt of US bombing which decimated the city, on the surface at least. Open to the public in the 1970s, we'll explore the tunnels and rooms and learn about the decisions made by the military leadership during the conflict. All this learning will no doubt have run up an appetite. So, it's back onto our tour bus as we head down the road, back past the Arch of Triumph and Kim Il-sung Stadium, to arrive at the beautiful and central Moranbong Park, one of Pyongyang's most popular relaxation spots. Enjoying a picnic in the heart of the city, this is a great chance to interact with locals, especially if we're visiting on a national holiday, which usually results in hundreds of locals descending on the park with friends and families to celebrate the occasion. With our break time coming to an end, the itinerary continues. Next up, Pyongyang's foremost museum, dedicated to the 1951-1953 conflict. Driving to the victorious Fatherland Liberation War Museum, we'll pass by the mammoth Mansudae Assembly Hall, around the ancient Potong Gate, before skirting along the Potong River, Pyongyang's second river, before we cross over the bridge and park outside the victorious Fatherland Liberation War Monument. Prior to the renovation of the museum, this monument was an independent site, although today it also serves as an entryway to the museum itself. Here, we'll get to learn about the northern perspective on the Korean War, as well as board and explore the USS Pueblo, an American spy ship captured in 1968 off the eastern coast of the DPRK. Leaving the museum on the other side of the Potong River, we'll trundle through the streets of Pyongyang before heading underground through the Kumnung Tunnel beneath Moranbong Park, over the Taedong River, before turning down the aptly named Juche Tower Street, stopping at the base of the world's largest stone tower. We'll head inside the base, which contains a quaint souvenir shop, and the ground floor of the elevator, which can whisk us up to the top, commanding some of the most amazing views over Pyongyang. Perhaps not a stop for those with a fear of heights, visitors who aren't inclined to visit the top can explore the tower from the ground. The statue at the front represents the workers, peasantry and intelligentsia, each holding up the tools of their trade to form the emblem of the Workers' Party of Korea. You'll also be free to explore some of the other statues which line the Taedong riverbank near the Juche Tower. With all this symbolism in mind, it's time to take that upper level, to the Workers' Party Foundation Monument. Leaving the tower and travelling along some beautiful tree-lined boulevards, our bus will drop us off outside the monument. A great photo opportunity, this monument was completed in 1995 and is dedicated to the governing Workers' Party of Korea. As previously mentioned, the tools depicted on the monument are symbolic of each working class in Korea. The red buildings behind the monument are emblematic of red flags. Nestled between them is the Monument Museum, which we'll pay a visit to before heading back onto the bus. As evening draws in, it's time to relax and unwind. In high summer, we might visit the nearby Munsu water park. One of Pyongyang's most popular fun fairs, this water park is relatively new, and a great chance to have fun, interact with locals, and round off the day in an enjoyable way. For those slightly cooler days, we may visit the nearby local bowling alley and Kumnung Cafe, where we'll bowl alongside Pyongyang citizens, grab a coffee, or spend some time in the shooting range, although not with real guns. Having enjoyed our evening, we'll grab some dinner, before getting back on the bus and enjoying a night drive around Pyongyang, including a visit to the Ryugyong Hotel, which is turned into an enormous LED screen at night, a real stunning sight to behold. After this, we'll return to our hotel. For many who think about the DPRK, they first think about Pyongyang. This city is truly unique and packed full of amazing sights and opportunities to interact with local Koreans. For most, Pyongyang will not be the only place they visit on tour. The nearby cities of Pyeongseong and Nampo are ever popular destinations. Further south, the city of Kaesong and the demilitarized zone are hotspots for foreign visitors. Even places further afield, such as Wonsan, Hamhung, Kumgangsan, Sinuiju, and Myeongsan. Not to mention the mountainous heartlands of Korea in the northeast, with sites like Samjeon, Hwaryong, Cheongjin, and Najin open to foreigners. And that's not even the full list of destinations. Pyongyang, however, will always remain the beating heart of tourism in the DPRK. And whilst there is so much more to see than what's been laid out in this video, this gives a pretty good overview of what you might expect to see and do during your tour in Pyongyang. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe so you never miss a video, and let me know what you want to see next. Thanks for watching.